Let's talk about the seasons of the narcissistic relationship. I know we talk about the cycles, love, bomb, devalue, blah, blah, blah. But there is another set of cycles we don't talk about. And these aren't cycles as much as I think they could actually be better viewed as seasons. Granted, seasons do cycle through, but they come and they pass and time marches on. Let's break down what I'm going to call the seasons of the narcissistic relationship from the experiential point of view of the person in the relationship. Some of these overlap with the relationship cycle, the love bombing, etc., but some are unique to the experience and perspective of the person who was in the relationship and being narcissistically abused. So let's talk about season 1. Season 1 is the season of novelty and maybe even the season of delight. In some cases, this is love bombing. It could just be plain old-fashioned idealization. Now, for example, if this is a parent, it may harken back to the time when you still held that parent up on a pedestal or were still trying to win them over because you thought they were some kind of hero. They may have seemed larger than life. In adult relationships, this is about being in something special, being seen. It may be exciting, it may be comforting, it may feel like something that erases old wounds. Narcissistic relationships feel bigger, more special than other relationships initially, which is why they are dangerous. They often feel like a balm on our old wounds, or even just something that sweeps us away or inspires us. Season 1 is quite a season, and one we often yearn for after it has passed. Now, season 2 is the season of confusion and despair. This can often overlap with both devaluation and discard. There is a moment when the narcissistic stuff starts popping out more consistently. The delight and idealization and specialness or magic gets stained with their selfishness, entitlement, manipulation, triangulation, gaslighting. Initially, you may believe you can't be seeing or reading this right. You may push back and say, whoa, 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 wait a minute, what's going on here? And they will push back and outmaneuver you, as they do, because they gaslight and you don't. This is a dangerous season because just like when summer becomes fall and there are a slew of warm, warm days, and then bam, an early frost comes along and you aren't prepared for it, those warm days are still seductive. The blast of cold air throws you off and is a reminder of what more is to come. In this season of confusion and despair, you still are very much still in the good stuff part of this and still enjoying that. So when this crappy, narcissistic, antagonistic stuff gets thrown in there, and at this point, you do not know what it is. The subtle shifts, it's like when seasons change, the days getting a minute shorter each day start to happen. Dynamics like breadcrumbing and future faking start to set in. But the most problematic thing that happens in season 2 is that you not only think you can fix it, but you try. You communicate, you ask, you try again, you blame yourself when it doesn't work, you read relationship books, you try really hard. And the self-blame starts really setting in because season 1, magic, delight, are still very fresh in your mind. And you keep asking yourself, why can't I bring that back? It's like wishing for a summer day when the fall cold is in place. Now, unlike the seasons in a calendar, these are not balanced seasons. They don't all last for 3 months, for example. Some of these seasons may last for months. Season 1, unfortunately, rarely lasts as long as we want it to. And season 2, quite frankly, can go on for years. Season 2 sucks because it's here where the harms of these relationships really kind of get set into us. And we get filled with the shame and the general ick of these relationships. Then we go to season 3. Season 3 is the season of seeing it. And this is a big season. Frankly, I would argue it's as miraculous as a season as when we see daffodils push through in the spring. Gives me renewed faith every year. Frankly, I vote for season 3 to be the most profound and important season of all. The season where we finally see it. Now, you may say, well, Dr. RAMANI, doesn't this season suck? Because it is also a season of recognizing that all these unpleasant things are a pattern that can't change, and all the icky and bleak radical acceptance stuff. Yes, but it beats the hell out of blaming yourself. It's a season of enlightenment, of awareness. But this is the season when maybe at this point you've read a book or talked to a therapist who pointed out the patterns, listened to a podcast, heard some videos, whatever it is. But it starts to become abundantly clear what you are dealing with. And you may resist this season. For example, it's like you keep wearing shorts even though it's a cold fall day. And you may embrace it because it helps you make sense of it. Each story is different. And this season can be filled with both relief and grief. And radical acceptance may not come right away, but you will start to see the patterns, anticipate them, and see it as a them thing and not as much of a you thing. Season 4 is the season of not being able to unsee it. This is in many ways the season of liberation. And you may wonder, what's the difference between this and the season of seeing it? In season 3, there may still be some residual trauma bonding. A few moments where you still may get pulled in or disappointed. You may get lulled by the normal or nice days. And the season of seeing it, you may even still feel a little bit guilty for seeing it. You see it, but you don't want to see it. Well, in season 4, the season of not being able to unsee it, I know that's a double negative, but oh well. But this is it. This is radical acceptance all the way through. It's disengaging. It's engaging differently. It's getting out in some cases. It's no longer feeling as guilty or feeling bad for seeing it and calling it, at least to yourself, what it is. In this season, you are able to see that even on the good days, the selfishness and entitlement, the control still peek through. It's who they are and it's how they go through the world. Sometimes the only shame of this season of not being able to unsee it involves looking back and cringing at some of the stuff you put up with after being so clear about it now. This is a season, I've got to be frank with you, not everybody gets to season 4. Because in this season, even if you stay in the relationship, you harbor no more fantasies about change. If you stay, it's for reasons that aren't grounded in denial or rationalization, but perhaps embedded in culture or practical issues. Some people get to the 3rd season of seeing it, but the trauma bonding can be hard to push back on. But when you get here, you can't not see it. That's season 4. And as a result, you just don't take the bait anymore. You don't fall for it. You still have feelings. You may be angry or disgusted or eye-rolling, just as you would be if you saw a stranger doing these things. But it's not that same primal personal hurt it once was. These seasons do proceed linearly, and nobody goes from the season of not being able to unsee it back to season 1, the season of delight and joy. It doesn't work that way. These seasons tend to proceed one after the other, and it can be hard to go from season 2, that devaluation kind of season, to season 3 without information or education or feedback, which is why for the longest time, people got stuck in a sort of permanent season 2 of confusion and despair because there was no information. Season 3, seeing it, it's good, don't get me wrong. But season 4, not being able to unsee it, believe it or not, it's peace. It's a season of if it walks like a duck. It's a season of knowing that the good moments aren't good moments. They are part of the entire narcissism universe. Some people wonder, Isn't not being able to unsee it bad? Having to recognize that something you wanted to be a certain way isn't? No, it's not. It's seeing it in a way that lifts self-blame, that breaks through confusion and stops you from jousting at windmills and wasting your precious time and bandwidth on false hope. Season 4, the season when you can't unsee it, is a season of freedom, liberation, transcendence, and wisdom. When we focus on the love bomb, devalue, discard, hoover, we are focusing on how the narcissistic people are treating you. When we think of it in this way as seasons, it's a chance to reflect on how your perception of this relationship evolves over time. I hope this framework helps, and I'm sending you all good tidings to get to that 4th season. I personally think of season 4 as an endless summer because I love summer and warmth and green and long days. Some days may be a bit scorching, but something about summer and the warm days and warm nights is peaceful. Listen, you may find spring or fall peaceful. Use this model as it works for you. But recognize that you can't rush a season away, and it can sometimes take longer to get to each of these next seasons, take longer to get there than you want. But if you do the work, you will. Thanks again.